Hello, and thank you for tuning in once again. You're tuned in to The Encourager. Literally, that's perfectly fine, and then as soon as I press record, it's like I get all stuffy. That just lets me know the chakra's working, right? And all the nasal, hear that? All the nasal whatever, as soon as I press play. The enemy in their work, always trying to hinder us in whatever way, even in the simplest way. So the enemy is the one who knows you're allergic to peanuts. So after they've tried to give you peanuts, they see that don't work, then they'll leave peanut dust around, right? They try anything to derail you. And speaking of speaking of that, so as I mentioned in the last video, and talking about ego, and all of this can go, I mean, you could literally have hours-long sessions on these topics that I am speaking on for just brief minutes. And ultimately, for me, that is the goal. The goal is to get to a place where there are monthly sessions, maybe multiple times a month. On the individual basis, certainly multiple times a month as far as working with individual clients. But as far as the collaboration or gathering, I should say, let me say gathering of peoples, nations, in one place, it would be good to do something like that. Get to a place to where there is maybe one event every month, every quarter kind of thing, where it's a large gathering of those who are enlightened, those who are growing, those who are spiritually awakened, at least in some degree, and those who are curious and want to know more about living the life that is our highest, truest, purest self. Because that is energetically who we are. We are birthed spiritually mature. Our spirit does not age. It just leaves the body. That is why reincarnation does happen. We live many lives because our spirit does not die. It just simply leaves the flesh. Okay? So yes, so I was recording Numerology earlier today, and for some weird reason it decided that it was going to cut out or not work, or I don't know what it was deciding it was going to do, but it did it, and it did not record 95% of the video. It stopped at a couple of minutes in. So I was not really, because it is a lot. I mean, it's you're talking about, so it's not just, so it's the reading of the information, and then there's whatever information I share. And again, we all listen to YouTube videos at various times and during various activities during the day, cooking, cleaning, car fixing, mowing the lawn, whatever. I don't know if you could mow the lawn in here, a video, YouTube video, but whatever you're doing, art, whatever it is, whatever you're doing, laying down, whatever. And so I am right now, I'm trying to be mindful of the amount of time, but with this, it's just going to be longer just because of the amount of content involved. So just bear with me. Feel free to obviously come back if you need to, what have you. Feel free to scroll to your number, and in fact, that reminds me. So I think I'll leave timestamps. So let me get something to write on here. So yeah, so I'll leave timestamps, and that way, and there, you will be able to just skip over the others once you calculate, or if you already know your life path number. Okay. So yes. So, numerology has been something, for me personally, has been something I've always been interested in. And when I get to my life path number, I will share with you which one that is. If you have never watched the Discovering Your Life Path video that is also on this channel available to you. And in that video, I don't go into in depth about all the numbers and what they mean. I simply show the calculating process to find your life path number. Okay? So in numerology, there are numbers 0 through 9. And in fact, it's 1 through 9. 0 in numerology is really not considered a number. Although we use it 10, 20, 30, 40, right? We use it 100,000, million. So the life path numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 are the first 9 life path numbers. And then you have what's called master numbers. And these numbers are 11, 22, and 33. When calculating your life path number, the master numbers 11, 22, and 33 are numbers that you do not break down to a single number. Every other number we break down to a single number. So a 12 becomes a 3, a 24 becomes a 6, a 42 becomes a 6, a 43 becomes a 7, a 34 becomes a 7, right? We break all of that down by adding those two numbers together to discover a single number that gets us to our single number life path number, if it's not one of the three master, or if they're not one of the three, yes, master numbers, okay? All right, so life path numbers specifically, there's all sorts of numbers you can look up on yourself pertaining to you, your birth chart, expression numbers, and all sorts of things, right? So you can look up your life path number, and your life path number, specifically the life path number, points to your inner gifts, abilities, spiritual anointings, talents, and abilities. It does not point to physical gifts, talents, and abilities, things that we've garnered through books, formal education. It does not point to those things. It points us to the tools that we've been given for our mission here. So if you find through listening to what I'm sharing, you find, let's say for instance, that you are a scientist. I don't know we'll see what life path number that best suits, right? And you're researching, you like digging in, right? You might be a detective, you might be a police officer, you might be a secretary, but you know you're not in the right field. Our life path number can point us to our occupation. Okay, so let's get going with the meaning of these life path numbers. Okay, so obviously first is life path number 1, right? So yes, so again, if you're needing to know how to calculate, please refer to the video on this channel that speaks to discovering your life path number. Okay. Or if I remember, I'll put a link. I often don't remember these things. I'll put a link in the description. I don't know why I couldn't think of that word. So we're going to get started with life path number 1, and it is 926. Okay, so people born with the life path number 1 are on lifelong missions to exert their independence and step into their power, personal power. This is the solar plexus chakra being exercised here. So life path number 1s, you function mainly through your solar plexus chakra. Okay, that is the third chakra just below your third chakra going up, right, as we count the chakras. And it is the third of the 3 lower chakras, main 7 chakras, okay? But you have 3 lower chakras, okay? They carry a natural air of authority as a leader who likes to be the first to try something new. A strong desire for manifesting keeps them moving and improving. A feeling of isolation may follow people with this life path, but it's also helpful in their progress. Cooperating with other people in romantic relationships, teamwork settings can be difficult for life path number 1s. So life path number 1s, you might find yourself, when you first discover your life path 1 and you start getting into spirituality and discovering that you are really a spirit here experiencing a human life, and you're not a human trying to figure out the spirit life, it's not that way, it's the other way around, then you might find it difficult working in team settings because you consider yourself something of a solo artist. That might work well in some occupations, and depending on what your life prophecy is, meaning what you're here to fulfill, that may or may not work for the majority or vast number of you. Okay, that's for your own individual thing, because we're all individual. There are literally 7+ billion spiritual plans right now walking on the earth. Individual, not identical, spiritual contracts walking around on this earth, 7+ billion. No one's going to be identical to another. Okay, so we need to find those things out for ourselves. Okay, so this goes into no one being able to tell you what your purpose is. Okay, people can drop little nuggets, right? They can tell you, the Lord told me to tell you this, Most High said this. I would always do your homework. I would always do your due diligence to find out if these things resonate with you or not. Never, ever, 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 ever take someone's word for it that their word from the Lord is for you. Because we are all charged by Most High to have our own individual relationship with Him. If not, He would have written that man is to follow the apostle, pastor, preacher, teacher. They're supposed to follow that 5-fold ministry and do whatever they say. And Most High would have just left it like that. But we all know that's not what He intended, because that's not what He said. And we all know that we have free will, and the ultimate expression here on earth in your existence is that individual relationship with Most High. That is why religion tries to keep you away from it. And religion tells you that you need to go see some man or woman every week to tell them what your life is supposed to look like. Bullshit. 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 Okay? You don't need a man or a woman to tell you how to live your life. You don't need a man or a woman to get you closer to God. You don't need a man or a woman to do a damn thing for you in regard to your spiritual relationship with divine, with Most High, with Abba Father, with Yahweh God, with the Lord, right? You don't need anybody. Okay? You don't. Talk to Him directly and remove man from being your spiritual guide. Okay? I'm not here to be your spiritual guide. Okay? I'm here to be a spiritual teacher. I don't know what your purpose is. Just like I can't influence your will. Okay? So life path number 1, understand it's important to manage that strong leadership ability that you have with some consideration for what other people think, other people's ideas, okay? And understand that you can swing too far into your masculine energy and become a narcissistic leader, okay? All right, so just recognize that life path number one. And life path number ones, thank you for what you bring to the table. All right, life path number two. Life path number two, 1515, let's call it. People that were born with a life path 2 are blessed with beautiful hearts that they use to bring beautiful relationships into their lives, from romantic to business, family, and friends. Bonds are most valuable to a life path number 2. They thrive in being part of a team and will do everything in their power to make it a happy, easy, and successful union. They are incredibly giving and do well at creating long-lasting connections. Okay? In the video that stopped recording earlier today, this afternoon, I shared a story about a time when I was in a global organization called Business Networking International, founded by Dr. Ivan Meisner, back when I had an accounting firm in Florida. And he started this organization in the 80s because he saw a need for business owners to network amongst themselves on the weekly basis and exchange referrals and benefit from that financially, benefit from that relationally, right? And so he started BNI International. Okay? And now today that organization has some 10,000 chapters all over the world. They're literally India, Ghana, South America, Alaska. They literally have chapters all over the place. And these chapters meet once a week. There's one particular gentleman, I don't know what his life path number is, but in the chapter, I was in 2 different chapters at 2 different times over the years that I was an accountant. And this guy, he was a master networker. He's a mortgage originator, but he is for Fannie Mac. He is I suspect that's what he still does. He was a master networker. Each week, we're required to, that there's structure to that BNI organization, and that's what makes it work, right? But leadership can change structures just like spiritual leaders change scripture. Okay? And those who have come before you and I in this lifetime and in our previous lifetimes, they have changed scripture. This is why YHWH is only seen a couple of times in the Bible, or at least the one that I've seen, when in fact they've replaced YHWH in most Bibles with capital LORD. Why? Because man really doesn't want you to know who God is. He doesn't want you to know who the divine source creator is. He doesn't want you to know that you are supernatural and you hold power to create and manifest and change your life. He doesn't want you to know about your chakras and how to enlighten yourself and be in alignment with Most High. Man doesn't want you to know about that. Okay? That's the side of man that took the fruit. Man doesn't want you to know about that stuff. So man does things to hide it. And then others, archaeologists and people who are directed, whether they recognize that or not, uncover these things for us. Thank goodness. Right? So the Dead Sea Scrolls, I think, were uncovered in 1942, I think. Something like that. That was a secret revealed, right? And I haven't yet, but I know for sure I will be doing my due diligence and going through those and seeing what is on those and that sort of thing. There were lost books of the Bible, some 45 books that were removed, including the Book of the Cave of Taverns that talks about Adam and Eve's journey out of the Garden of Eden once they were removed. There's all sorts of lessons that man hides from us because man doesn't want us to know who we truly are. Okay? All right. So life path number 2. You thrive in being a part of a team. Yes. Every action and decision of a person that is a life path 2 is geared at creating a harmonious existence. Hopefully that's all of our intent. Although it's okay to ruffle feathers. It is. And in fact, in today's world, the spiritualists, we have to ruffle feathers. And again, it's not our focus, but when we speak, when we draw, when we paint, when we build, when we create, whatever you're doing, right? Whatever you're doing, you are, because you are shunning all the shit that man tells you you can't do, you can't be. Man tells you you got to go to work and get a job and slave for a man. Work for the 1%, the ones who create the bills, the votes, the ones who print the money. Yeah, or at least the ones who control the switch. Right? That's what man teaches you. However, and that may be your purpose. Okay? Every business owner wants or needs employees. They may not have them, but they need them. Right? Even for someone such as myself, who is a solo artist, right? And never hired an employee. I would hire contractors to work with me, but I never had any employees as an accountant when I owned my practice, because I was protective over client information. And as it turns out, information was hacked, and that information was compromised, and the doppelganger scammed clients out of money. So, yeah, that's what witchcraft does, right? And I was minding my own business. I wasn't doing anything to any of those people. But that's how it is. Because if you're high vibing, that's how it is, right? The fly is attracted to your food because it smells great, but the fly is also attracted to shit. It's also attracted to crap, right? So, yeah. So life path number 2s. Okay. I mentioned your subconscious. See, and they're talking about your subconscious here. I did not read this. Again, I don't read most material before I share it with you, other than validating the source. I don't read over scripture before I share it with you. Any lost books of the Bible, I don't read any of those prior to sharing it. But this is right what I was saying. The subconscious mind is extremely powerful for a person born with a life path 2. Because if you focus from your subconscious, then you are focusing sleep or unconsciously. Okay? That's what the low vibration people do. That's why they unalive each other, and innocent individuals. That's why they lie, cheat, steal. That's why the enemy is here to steal, kill, and destroy. Because the enemy functions in that subconscious, unconscious way. Okay. Life path number 3. Let me write down the time. Life path number 3, 2333. Let's call it. Charming, romantic, and full of creative energy. People who were born with a life path 3 are embrace life. They tend to see the world through rose-colored lenses, where everything looks like an opportunity and the chances of expression and enjoyment are endless. They have a tendency to be skilled communicators and have a knack for coming up with and sharing brilliant ideas. The Life Path 3 makes an excellent journalist, blogger, social media influencer, or author. Okay? But while Life Path 3 are great at attracting others, forming real deep bonds is the difficult part. They want to keep things fun and new, but feel they have to give. They don't want to feel as though they have to give that up, right? So for Life Path 3, from the first paragraph, this is what I've gotten from that. Looking through rose-colored glasses consistently is never good. If you are manifesting, then it's okay. If you're meditating, it's okay. Yoga, it's okay. Reiki healing, any other type of spiritual healing process, whatever. You're outside and you're spending time in nature, you're out in the trees, that's great. However, when it comes to the 3D, you don't want to be looking through rose-colored glasses. You want to take your glasses off, or you want to remove the tint from those glasses, because they distort things. They have you feeling all rosy, fuzzy about your enemy. Life path number 3. Through those rose-colored glasses. I've been fooled by rose-colored glasses. All of us, if we're an adult, we have been fooled. We've lived long enough in this lifetime alone. Yeah. To have been taken care of because we were to have been taken advantage of because we were looking through rose-colored glasses. Okay? Being taken care of is not the same as being taken advantage of. Okay? It's okay for someone to use you. Your spouse needs to use you. Your children need to use you. Your employer needs to use you. Your employees, they need to use you. They do. Because if they're not able to use you, then you're obsolete. So they do need to use you, but not in a negative sense. Again, ego, right? Along with that. Ego isn't a bad thing. Stress isn't a bad thing. It's the application that matters. Life path 3. Okay? So make sure you're not looking through those rose-colored glasses in the 3D constantly. Manifesting and all those other things I mentioned, yes, that's okay. But not when you're dealing with other people. You need to take those rose-colored glasses off, put on the bifocals so that you can see magnetized when individuals are coming at you with shady shit, and likewise when those individuals are coming to you with truth, sincerity. Okay? Life path number 4. Life path number 4, let's call it 2720. Life path number 4, dedicated, patient, down-to-earth, and hard-working people with a life path number 4 are a great source of stability in our world. They aren't interested in rocking the boat because they know that constant, steady effort is the surest path to their goals. Life path number 4s are consistent in their methods and their moods, and they keep things composed. They experience a range of emotions just like everyone else, but their practical way of processing their feelings keep them from going to extremes. Okay, so life path number 4s are emotionally level-headed individuals. Okay, life path number 4s on the downside can also become complacent. Okay, so it's good to be dedicated. It's good to be patient. It's good to be down to earth. It's good to be, you don't want to be too much earth. It's good to be hardworking, but you don't want to have to work too hard. And again, physically, because there's a time to rest. Okay. Right? So with their stability in the world, so man has a saying, slow and steady wins the race. But that is not always true. And if you doubt what I am saying, ask Usain Bolt. Well, that's different. He's in a sprint. Exactly. So again, not everything is just that. Man says slow and steady wins the race, and they preach it. But the truth is, the real truth is, both slow and steady wins the race, and so does speed and accuracy. That's the truth. Man only shares half. The love of money is the root of all evil. So man will teach you. You don't need to love money. You need to be humble. You need to be humble. You don't need to, right? Man will tell you that. But let me tell you something. What your life will look like if you take those words and you take them to mean money is bad, you're okay with the minimum, and you live your life like that. you're living a lie. And I guarantee you, you're living below your spiritual means. Okay? Most things in the 3D is the exact opposite of what it is in the 5D, 6D, 7D. It's the exact opposite. It's a 180 from it. Okay? But if you have both perspectives, then you get a well-rounded, right, circle. When you're talking about 180 from 180. Again, balance. Okay? So, life path number 4. In relationships, people with life path 4 are honest, loyal, and committed, and they need the same from their partner. Trust and fidelity are vital to them, and it's important they find someone who shares their religious perspective and values. Okay? And being unequally yoked is not just a believer with an atheist. Being unequally yoked is, I believe I'm called to be an entrepreneur, but I get no support from my spouse. That is being unequally yoked. Okay? Never be afraid, life path 4, any number. Never be afraid to leave situations that no longer serve your good. You'll hear me say it forever. Never be afraid to leave situations that no longer serve your good. You need spiritual strength. You need to work on your root chakra. You need to work on your solar plexus chakra. And you need to get some strength. And love yourself. When you love yourself, you do not stay in karmic situations. When we love ourselves, we do not stay in karmic situations. I love myself enough to not deal with that individual. I love myself enough to not deal with that family. I love myself enough to not deal with that parent, not deal with that child. Okay? And I should say son or daughter. Okay? Kids under your authority require a certain amount of care and attentiveness and attention. Yeah. But outside of your authority, when they have on their own, they're being disrespectful, leave them right where they're standing and just let them talk to themselves. Parent to the son or daughter, and son to the daughter or mother. To the father or mother, right? Okay? All right, life path 4. So, life path number 5. Life path number 5, and we'll call it 3255. 3255. Life path 5, people with a life path 5 number are on a lifelong journey or adventure. They are ready for anything and want to soak up every experience this world has to offer. Life path 5s tend to learn by living and don't allow themselves to get stuck in any situation that has outworn its interest. Again, so life path 5 is in contrast to 4. Or was it 3? Right? I think it was 4. Yes, 4. They're in slight contrast to 4. 4 is the type of individual who would go to work at the DMV when they're 18 and they retired from the DMV when they're 45. That's a life path 4. Slow and steady. They don't change the jobs. They don't change much. They probably stay in the same house. They might even stay in the house that they were grown up, that they were raised in. That's a life path 4, right? Life path 5, right, is far more adventurous. Okay. And by the way, we all carry a little bit of every last one of these. Okay. So just like the zodiac signs, we all carry. So I am a Sagittarius sun. Okay. So even though I am a Sagittarius sun, I still carry some Aquarius, some Aries, some Libra, some Capricorn, right? We carry all of these, all of it. This is why we don't need man to guide our spiritual lives. We are complete in and of ourselves. 100%. Spiritually speaking, we need to do things physically in the 3D because it's so lacking and weak and low vibration. This is why Most High sends his angels to speak to us most of the time, especially in biblical, the scriptures that we read. Okay, these are biblical times. In the scriptures that we see where he sent angels lots of times. Because this place hasn't been resurrected yet. That's what we are here for. That's what the 144,000, that's what we're here for. Light workers, star seeds, earth angels. That's what we're here for. Healers, prophets, right? That's what we're here for. Is to flip this thing around. Okay? So, Life Path 5. You're an adventurer. Okay? So you enjoy doing things that perhaps most would not. So you might be a skydiver. You might be someone who does extreme sports. I don't know what that is called when they jump from buildings to buildings. That is, I don't know what that's called, but it's kind of wild to me. And yeah, it's a gamble, but we all take a gamble at some point in time in our life. Just depends on what slot machine we're gonna sit at. So the moment things start to get humdrum, a person with their life path 5 will move on to something else. So you might go from job to job very fast, life path 5, right? Meeting new people is no problem for a person with a life path number 5. They are very social creatures by nature and enjoy engaging with others. I was speaking earlier about that gentleman who might be a strong life path number 2 from that business networking organization, right? And he might be a life path number 2, but he also might be a 5. Very strong social skills. Might be associated with life path 1 as well. So you see, there's a little bit in each, right? So yes. So the challenge for a life path 5, if there's one thing a life path 5 person will never be, it's boring. To them, life is about experimenting and engaging and earning and enjoying, and that they can wait to take it all in and they can't wait to take it all in each and every day. Anyone with a life path 5 doesn't always know exactly where they're going. So they are sporadic individuals, right? Or they can be when they function in their low vibration state, a life path 5. So if you're sporadic, and I would say highly sporadic, right? On average, I was a headhunter years ago before going to school for accounting when I got out of the military in the 2000s. And I would have these conversations with these professionals. I specifically was in the consumer industry, so I recruited for like Unilever, which has some 200,000 employees. They're one of the largest employers in the world. And they make like Lipton tea. They own so many brands, it's ridiculous. Unilever does. But so those types of companies, Dannon Yogurt, Pepsi company, I would recruit for consumer goods companies. And I remember I met some pretty amazing people. And because I was an international recruiter, I didn't meet most of them. In fact, I met none of them. Back then, we didn't have Zoom, so everything was a phone call. Okay, it would be good to meet them because again, one of my strengths isn't, it's not networking, but it is relationship building with the individual. Okay, if that makes sense. There's a differentiation there. At least in my mind it is. Okay? So life path 5s, be careful of your sporadic behavior. Okay? Leaving a situation too soon creates the same result as leaving too early. And that is a result of being out of timing. Outside of divine timing. That's what that creates. Okay? Life path 5. And thank you for what you bring to the table. Life path 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all 12. Thank you for what you bring. Life path 6. People born with a life path 6 embrace their emotions and lead with their heart. So similar to another life path number that we heard about earlier. They give off warm and inviting energy that others want to be around. Okay? They enjoy many rich relationships throughout their life. So a life path 6 is somewhat of a people gatherer. Okay? People are drawn to them, right? And they may often keep relationships for decades. Okay, the same relationships. I mean, for decades. Okay, whether these life path people encounter someone who is just like them or someone who is entirely different, they will treat them the same. So, life path 6s, thank you for bringing your equality to the table. Okay, treating everyone equally good. Okay, equal kindness, equal respect. Again, on the good side. Again, not being sarcastic. So you can treat everybody the same and treat everybody like crap. That's not, no. Okay? Treat everybody the same and treat them well. Okay? Again, not being a doormat. People, if you're angry, again, we have emotions for a reason. Okay? Right? Somewhere in that book between Genesis and Revelation, it says, be angry and sin not. Means be angry, but don't go against your spirit man, which is unchanged. It's mature from day one, from birth. Don't go against that. Okay? People talk about sin. What is sin? Sin is really going against your true your divine nature. That is what that is. We need to get rid of that word because it's way convoluted, just like being a Christian or a believer. Those words don't carry anything today because the believer, the Christian, right? So I use profanity, but I use profanity at people generally or historically. Actually, I've not used profanity. I have not. In fact, for a long time, for 40-something years, it was tough for me to say what the hell. Because I grew up religious, and religion teaches you, ooh, that's a bad word, you cuss. Do you remember us as kids? Ooh, I'ma tell mama. Right? You said a bad word. Hell is not a bad word. You don't want to go there, but it's not a bad word. Granted, people spend too much time on it. What am I speaking? People spend too much time on it, so they put it into everything, right? And again, I do too, right? So hell yeah, hell no, what the hell, right? It would be better if we said, what the heaven? Heaven, yeah. That would be better. But such is the Western English language. And English overall, I think that's kind of a global thing. I think every language has a what the hell, right? So yes, Life Path 6, thank you for bringing your pure emotional heart. That's good. And that's all about the heart chakra. That's all about the green, right? Green with envy. That's where that saying came from, right? You can be green with love too. Whether these Life Path 6 individuals encounter some... I read that. Sorry. With natural ability to connect and with others and offer aid and advice, Life Path 6 people do well as professional counselors, mentors, and teachers. So I definitely have some 6 somewhere. Somewhere in there. All right. So the downfall of a Life Path 6, or the challenge, I won't say the downfall, hopefully it's not. The challenge with the Life Path 6 is it's never good to constantly wear your heart on your sleeve. Because when you do, again, you're taken advantage of and you are naive. You become the individual on the other end of that phone that sends that scammer hundreds of thousands of dollars. Okay? Because you think if I just give them $20 more, I'm going to get $1 million. That's no. No. Stop being naive, life path 6. Any life path. Stop being naive. We've all been there. We've all fallen for the okie doke. We've all fallen for the picture that we saw through the rose-colored glasses. Okay? So, emotional awareness is important, life path 6. And again, thank you. However, the logical side of that also needs to come into play when you're making decisions and moving through life, moving through this 3D place. Okay? All right. So, life path 7. Oh shoot, I don't think I wrote down the time for the start of the timestamp for 6. I'll have to go back and listen to it and find out. Sorry about that, life path 6. So life path 7, we'll call it 4619. Life path 7, people born with a life path 7, you are eternal students of the universe. They are introspective individuals with an unquenchable thirst for knowledge, and they enjoy looking into the inner workings of things. Someone with the life path 7 is a true thinker who lets their mind lead the way. So, life path 6, when you're functioning too much in your emotional side, find a life path 7 and maybe sit down and have some coffee with them. Okay? Because they function through the logic, right? Through their discoveries more so. Pretty much from the moment of birth, they are able to skillfully combine the exacting side of their brain with their divine intuitive side to learn about, process, and make sense of life itself. So, I said that I would share, for those of you who haven't watched my Discovering Your Life Path video, I told you at the beginning of this video that I would share with you when we came across my life path number, and this is what my life path number is. I am a life path 7. Okay? And as I sit here and share this with you, and I read that paragraph, it couldn't be any clearer. I am a teacher. I am a spiritual guide, leader, whatever you want to call it. I don't put titles on myself. All that stuff is convoluting, and all it does is restrict people anyway. Okay? So, whatever. People call me teacher, counselor, crazy, dumbass. They can call me whatever they want to call me. I'm sure they have. Right? But those people receive their karma. Right? Most High takes care of that for you. So life path, all of you life paths, when you're in your purpose, honestly, really, truly, I'm always reminded about David Goggins' book. I think another guy made one too, but I wouldn't go by it because he seems more like a scammer. His name's Dan Locke. Dan Locke is a YouTube influencer who proclaims to be some guy who can help you earn millions and billions by doing, I don't know. But I know who Dan Locke is, and I'm aware of the book that he wrote. And I think it's called F.U., I believe is what the book's called. But David Goggins wrote a book, and I'm definitely more closely associated with David Goggins, his mentality, his living lifestyle, just his day-to-day whatever. I've never met him. I've never spoken to him. But just in hearing him, I've listened to his interviews. I haven't read his book yet. But he wrote a book called Can't Hurt Me. Right? And he talks about how he went from being 300 plus pounds to becoming a Navy SEAL and going through Hell Week, I want to say 3 times. Just an extraordinary turnaround. This guy. Right? And part of his routine today is I think he he wakes up extra early. You'll find out some certain qualities of certain individuals that work at various times for you throughout seasons in your life. And that's for all of us. I'm speaking to all of us, not just Life Path 7. So there will be seasons and times when you will need to rest. You will not need to meditate as much. There will be seasons you will need to meditate a lot. There will be seasons when you will not need to sage so much. There will be seasons when you feel like you need to sage every hour. That's just the process of this 3D place. Because what we're trying to do is a mirroring, okay? Like a divine, in a twin flame, the divine masculine mirrors the divine feminine and vice versa, okay? So we are the bride of Yahweh Most High. We are. Okay? So as his bride, it is a divine union. Each of us, all 7+ billion of us, have a divine union with him, with our angels, with our spirit guides. Do you know what your connection is to the Orishas? Do you know if you are connected to the Orishas? Right? And so as I'm talking, I'm just saying, I'm just speaking from my throat chakra. Okay? If you are one of these individuals and these things flow from you in a similar way, you might be a Life Path 7. Okay? You are all into spirit. Many Life Path 7s might feel the strong urge to become monks or nuns, for a closer divination or stronger divination process, relationship, whatever you want to call it, frequency with Most High. Okay, I am definitely one of those individuals who have left completely, and I did not have to socialize. I am absolutely one of those people. I am definitely one of those people. I would live out in the middle of nowhere in a tree or amongst them, and I would... I'm reminded of someone. Give me just 1 second. I'm going to look up this individual. I couldn't think of his name the other day. However, let me see if I can find his name. So give me just 1 second. I apologize. I really do want to find this because I think it's important. Let's see. It's like W-A-L-L-E or something like that. And I don't even know if that's his first or last name. I don't remember. Let's see here. But this gentleman, in the meantime, while I look for this gentleman was discovered to be living in the mountains of, I don't even know. But he passed in 1974. Interesting year. He passed in 1974, because 74 is an 11. He passed in 74 at the age of 90, but he lived, there was no one around him, and there are others, and they're still with us today physically. He, oh man, this is going to bother me. This is going to really bother me. But, yes, so he lived to be 90, but when he was discovered, they discovered him living alone, by himself, in this cave, in the middle of nowhere. Can't say I'd live in a cave, but just out in nature without A man-made structure that I did not build myself? Yeah, probably. Right? But my heart loves the people. I have unconditional love for the people. That is my healing power, actually, is my unconditional love. So I will share something personal. So if you are a healer, okay, then your unconditional love is probably your healing power, because you must love unconditionally in order to bring healing about. You can't have respect of people. You can't be like, nope, I'm not going to heal you because you're brown. I'm not going to heal you because you're Asian. I'm not going to heal you. Oh, I'll heal you because you're European. You're from Germany. I don't know, right? You have to have unconditional love for all men if you want to be a healer and function in that strength in the best way. Because what happens when you see that individual in the airport and the Father Most High downloads to you to go over to that individual and share with them something you know, or a supernatural way that they can go about healing themselves? What are you going to do? And that person is a race other than your own. They look different other than from you. What are you going to do? Right? I don't remember that gentleman's name. Ugh. That's going to bother me. And I'm sorry, Life Path 7s and others that I'm on this so much, but I really wanted to find, I was really hoping to find that gentleman's name. But anyway, so yes, so Life Path 7s, that's our danger, is that we can isolate ourselves so much that we can become antisocial. And I have to constantly get out of the house on the regular basis. And most days I do it at least once a day, if it's nothing other than just to walk at the park, around the couple of blocks, to the store if I want to walk, whatever, right? Because I know that's important for me, because I know how I can get, okay? All right. So, Life Path 8. Life Path 8 personality is one of hard work and hard lessons. People born with Life Paths number 8 get their worth from accomplishing their great goals. The bigger the goal, the more satisfying it is when they achieve it. Money and material goods are important to these individuals because this is how a Life Path 8 rewards themselves, and this is how they express their goals. Okay? So Life Path 8 might be someone who has statues in their house or in front of their house. I remember the city that I lived in Florida, the last city. There was a house a couple of blocks away from where I was at one point, and then maybe 2 miles away at one point. But it was in the same city, and it was a modern looking house, and they had this statue. Is it the statue of David? But it wasn't that statue. It was a statue, and it was a man, and he was holding. It's a large statue in their front yard. Okay, it's a spectacle for the city. Actually, it's a what do they call that? It's a talking piece, right? But he has this bigger, holding this globe in their yard. It might be a woman that owns the house. I don't know. But yeah, right? So you, Life Path 8, that's important to you. Money, goals are important to you. Okay? So you might set aside family, leisurely things if they do not afford you the opportunity to either show off what you have, brag about yourself. Again, wrong egoic nature. There's a good egoic nature, but that's a bad egoic nature. Okay? Dealing with people in positions of authority is often challenging for Life Paths 8 because people born with the Life Path 8 are supremely confident in their abilities. Okay? They don't take kindly to those who are trying to tell them what to do on something that they already know how to do. Again, we all can be like this, especially if we're confident in the skill that we have. Okay, whether we've acquired that skill or it's a spiritual one given from divine. Okay, so what does that look like? You're a mechanic, but you've been around the block. You've learned a few things. Now no one can tell you anything. You feel like you can learn, you know everything about cars. Well, there might be some new technology that comes out and you might need to learn it. Right? And in fact, eventually there will be new technology. That's inevitable. Change is guaranteed. And so the truth is, not death and taxes aren't the two things that are guaranteed. Change is the one thing that's guaranteed. And that covers both spiritual and matrix. The other saying only covers the matrix. Okay. So life path number 8. You want to make sure, excuse me, that you are balancing your divine masculine energy with your divine feminine energy so that you do not become too cocky, you do not become egotistical, and it's okay to be cocky. Again, Kobe Bryant, the Mamba, he was cocky. Okay, there's a difference. I believe Michael Jordan is pompous. There's a difference. There is a difference. Kobe was awesome and very nice off the court. Michael is a dick on and off the court. That's the difference. One being balanced and the other not. Okay? Again, Michael Jordan's not taking off his shoes at the end of a game and giving them to anybody. He will tell you he can go buy them. You can go pay $200 for them. Go buy your own pair. Kobe gives his shoes off his feet and signs them and gives them to someone. There's a difference in heart there. Okay? Thank you, Life Path 8, for what you bring to the table. Life Path 9, there's a special kind of magic that follows people who hold the Life Path 9. Life Path number 9, they embody the wisdom of the sage, but not by chance. They have fought their way through many challenges to reach this point, through many lifetimes. It doesn't say lifetimes, but I'm saying through many lifetimes to reach a point where they believe and see that they've gained an immeasurable amount of strength and awareness along the way. So myself, I have lived 9 lifetimes here on Earth. This is my 10th and final lifetime here. Okay? As an Earth Angel. I'm not coming back here again. Thank goodness. Because I don't want to. All right? As many great experiences as I've experienced, I know my spirit, when I'm gone, I know it will not want to return here. Me and Most High, we've already had that discussion. Me and my angels, we've already had that discussion. Me and the Ascended Masters, we've had that discussion. All right? Not coming back here. Me and Archangel Michael, we've had that discussion. Okay? So, right? But it took many lifetimes for me to get to where I am right now. In other lifetimes, I've been unalived, sometimes by a spouse or a lover that was attempted, or there were individuals, and they come in many forms throughout different lifetimes. So this lifetime, it was the sperm donor who was trying to unalive me. Okay? And the twin flames, Karmic and her dumbass friends. Okay? They did whatever witchcraft, again, whatever that is, all that's forgiven, no harm. Well, there is harm. But all that's forgiven. There's no, nothing with them whatsoever. I don't have any malice or anything like that. But they are her dumbass friends. Okay? And yeah. So yes. So life path number 9s. You fight a good fight to gain the wisdom, knowledge that you have today, that you carry with you, that helps you in your life. Okay? The knowledge life path number 9s have gained can be incredibly valuable to others on their journeys. A person who is born with a life path number 9 tends to be spiritual and connects deeply with religion. So, again, you might be a priest, okay? Extremely religious, right? Again, I mentioned earlier, I've mentioned in previous videos, Thomas Dick, the philosopher, right? He, scientist and philosopher, spiritual philosopher, he might have been a life path number 9, okay? So these individuals are also often the ones who work within the Vatican, and they spend their lifetime researching. These might be archaeologists, right? They spend their lifetime, just lifetime after lifetime, gathering information and sharing it with the people. I found this scroll. Look, we've uncovered this. Look, we found this tomb. Look, we found this. Right? That's a life path 9, and they share that information with the world because they believe it's good to help them. Okay? People with life path 9 feel a great devotion to their fellow man. They are humanitarians by nature and use their big heart to support those those who have been made to feel unequal or unjustly done. Okay, so attorneys, right? Lawyers, judges, advocates, social workers, police officers. These are also, or can be, the individuals who protect us, who provide us our freedom. Okay. All right. So, Dr. Martin Luther King might have been a life path 11. I don't know. Life path 9. I don't know. Let's see. Life path number 11. Okay, so again, it's 1 through 9, and then we get into the master numbers. So here are the master numbers. They are 11, 22, and 33. Okay, people with an 11 life path are incredibly intuitive. They are incredibly intuitive and may even exhibit psychic abilities. So these individuals might be your tarot readers. Okay? Or often your tarot readers. They or poem readers, or I don't know, magicians, right? They might be your witches. Okay? And then again, there's a good witch and there's a bad witch. Like there's an angel and a devil. Okay? All right. So their purpose is to use their gift to better humanity. But it could take a long time before people born with a life path 11 truly understand the power they possess. So I think I mentioned it earlier. Maybe it was in another video. But I remember in 2021 when I was just starting to go through my dark night of the soul. I didn't know that's what it was called. But I remember I wrote in my journal, I have been asleep for 46 years and 9 months. I wrote that in September of 2021. I think it was September. Whenever I wrote it, it was 46 years and 9 months that I'd been living this lifetime. So, when I realized that, and even today, right now, I consider myself this lifetime to be a late bloomer to the game because of all the witchcraft and stuff that's been done to me, right? Dad took first wife and daughter, dialysis 4.5 years, then involved with a karmic, married another individual who was non-supportive, and throughout all this time, I was in and out of, I was on a roller coaster ride. High vibration, low vibration, high vibration, low vibration. That's why I have journals that go, when I go back, they were telling me about the situations I was in while I was in the situations. But when you're back and forth and you're not in complete alignment energetically, that is what that looks like. So miracles show up every now and then. Downloads happen every now and then. Today, I don't live. I don't know if I breathe for 15 minutes without Holy Spirit telling me something. 5 minutes. Something. True story. Okay? So, those of you who are Life Path 9 might feel that as, or 11s might feel that as well, that you are kind of a late bloomer. You're late to the game. You're not late to the game. You're right on time. Okay? You're right on time. Okay? And so am I. In order to fulfill their master number potential, 11s must not turn their backs on their special abilities or they may face inner turmoil. So, once you become enlightened to who you are, and this is for everyone, once you become enlightened to who you are in your path that you are to walk, be willing to walk it all by yourself without money. Because if you're willing to do something and to do it with truth and to do it with passion and to do it without compensation of any sort, to do it without compliment, to do it without audience, to do it, if you're willing to do that, yeah. Because then you've reached a place where man can't change you. Because man doesn't like what you're saying. Or man doesn't like how you look. You change your look. You look different. Why you look like that? Why'd you get your hair done like that? Why'd you cut your hair like that? Because I wanted to. Do I need any other reason? No. You don't. Right? Okay? So life path number 11s. Okay? Do not forsake your abilities. Do not forsake your spiritual abilities. Okay? Ice Cube, he makes several songs where he mentions God, but I'm also reminded, I'm thinking about someone on YouTube. Her name is Maji Got the Tea, and she says, God hired me, who gonna fire me? Right? Well, I was gonna say something before I thought of that saying. I don't know what it was. But yes, once you come into that ability, and those abilities, because we all have multiple, right? Use those abilities. And the very last sentence here says, let me read the second to last sentence. That's what most people do with scripture. They only read that scripture. They don't read the one below, above and below, so they don't get a well-rounded understanding. They just read Jesus wept. Well, what was he weeping for? Read above, read below, right? Understand and overstand. Yeah. In order to fulfill their master number potential, that they must not turn their backs on their special abilities or life path 11s, and this is anyone, you will face inner turmoil. Okay? And that's where depression comes in, because you are denying yourself in some way your outward expression. Okay? I'm going to go extreme here as an example. So someone who is wanting, because that's a desire, someone who's wanting, divine doesn't give you any lawless sexual tendencies. So what is lawless sexual tendencies? Multiple partners at once, living like Sodom and Gomorrah, whatever you want to call it. All right, that's what that is. Okay, so if you are functioning in that way, then you come to a point, because you're effing around with everybody, right? And you decide that you want to have an experience with the same sex. Again, we have free will, but there are spiritual laws in place. We have free will, but there are spiritual laws in place. Okay? So, when Most High said, be fruitful and multiply, a woman and a woman cannot multiply. A man and a man cannot multiply. I don't care how you change it. I don't care what the fuck science says. I don't care what the fuck surgery can do. You can't change a goddamn thing that Most High did before you were birthed into this world. The way you were conceived is the way that He wants you to be. Period. The way that you were conceived is the way that He wants you. If you were born with one nipple, guess what? If you were born with autism, don't try to change the autism. You probably one of the most brilliant people on the planet. You can teach me something. All the labels, again, all that does is confuse. You're not ADHD. You don't have attention deficit disorder. People need to find out where your passions are. Because when you find out where an ADHD child's passion is, then you can train them up in the way that they should go. I'm not even a motherfucking child counselor, and I see this shit. Because it's spiritual wisdom. Okay? If you train the child in the way that they should go, if they're showing ADHD symptoms, autism symptoms, they're showing help them in the way that they're trying to go. So if they're showing interest in music or in art or in blocks or wherever that path is, take them down that road. I know a woman, and I've never physically met her son, but I know a woman. She was actually the office manager at the last dialysis center I was at when I got my transplant. She was there when the news came that a transplant was there for me. So that whole team is an important part of my life, including the surgeons and transplant coordinator up in Pittsburgh, which is where the transplant took place. But those nurses and techs in Florida that were taking care of me, all of them, but specifically the team that was there when the call came that day on 7/6 of 2017. They're unique and special to me because they were uniquely selected to be a part of that journey. And they love it today, right? They love it, and so do I. Right? But one of those women, the office manager, she has a son and he has autism. And I think he just turned 16? Maybe 18. 16 or 18 maybe. He, right? She shares on Facebook some of the activities and things that he does. So he's a golfer. I really was hoping to actually get to at least play a round of golf with him before I left Florida. When I get back to Florida, maybe we can still do that. Yeah, maybe we can still do that. But yes, right? But he's doing all these things. Why? Because I believe, she sees clearly, and she is feeding him what he wants to be fed. We shouldn't do that in a physical sense, because kids will only eat McDonald's. And most of us can look in the mirror and see what that'll do to us today. Okay? And that's not a ridicule. Again, what I've learned, what I've been taught, is that if you're offended, then that's a revealing of something. So someone who's offended by me saying, don't feed your kids McDonald's, because you can go look in the mirror and probably see what that looks like, what the results are going to be. Don't be offended by that. Stop going to McDonald's. Stop going to Taco Bell. Okay? Grab a salad. Eat some fruit. And that also helps with your chakras, by the way. Okay? If you eat junk food all the time, that affects your energetic field, your energies. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Okay? Yes, it does. There's a reason why when people detox, they feel better. There's a reason for that. Okay? All right, life path 11. So, life path 22. Okay? So, life path 22. The life path 22 is called the Master Builder because it is a very special number to turn nebulous dreams into concrete realities. Okay, so these people are spiritually connected and feel both responsibility and a burden to use their cosmic gift to better the future of the world. And though it may take years to master their purpose as well, just like 11, it's just a double, right? It's a double portion. What 22 can achieve is exceptional, right? If they have stick-to-itiveness and the wherewithal. Okay? Fulfillment for someone with a master number 22 comes in the form of seeing how their hard work is coming to fruition. Their ambition is unmatched, and nobody sets the bar higher than these individuals, these master number 22s. So they need to know they've done well, done a good job. So they need some reassurance. So, I remember growing up, there were a couple of times when the sperm donor told me that I'm proud of you. There weren't very many times. There was just maybe 2. Me graduating high school, and I don't even know another time. He might have said it when I graduated basic training. He did come to the ceremony at Fort Knox, Kentucky. He might have said it then. I don't remember. But me, I don't need the accolades. Right? I will say every once in a blue moon, it's good to know that I'm doing a good job. But for me, that doesn't speak to me. I'm not one of those individuals. I do things all the time and I don't receive, no one gives me rewards, no one compliments me, there are times I hold the door open for women, they don't even say thank you. Ignorant asses. Right? And I say you're welcome even if they don't say thank you. Right? Because they need to know. They need to be thankful. Right? For the chivalry that's been shown to them. It's true. Okay? So, and if you are one who do not show chivalry, I encourage you to, because their lack of appreciation has not deterred me from still doing it today. It doesn't. Okay? But I do let them know their error when they just walk in or out of whatever building it is and they don't say anything. It happened the other day. She did say thank you after I said you're welcome. Right? Okay. So, now on to the final one. Right? And so life path 24. And I'm going to have to go back through and pick up the timestamps on these because I see I've gotten off to talking and sharing other insights and stopped at 7 for writing down the timestamps. So anyway, yes. So, birthdays that add up to 33. This is the rarest of master numbers. Okay? I was birthed on the 333rd day of the year. That was actually yesterday. It takes a specific and uncommon combination of numbers to make up a life path number 33. Anyone born with a life path 33, first of all, let me just say it would be great to have a conversation with you. So if you find out you're a life path number 33, it would be great for us to have conversation. Yeah. So because my birth date numbers break down like 11 for the month, 11 for the date, and 7 for the year. Okay, which is where I get my life path number from. Okay, so it would be very good me having 11, 11, 7 to speak to any of you, right? But specifically this individual, and that's just me. I look for the rare car. I look for the rare house, the whatever, the diamond in the rough. That's how I am, right? So that would be, any of them would be pretty unique experiences. Again, that email address is theencourager333@gmail.com. The Encourager, I always say the Encourager333@gmail.com. Okay, so master number 33. One of the most common traits of a life path number 33 is altruism. Okay, I'm going to say that again. Altruism. It's ALTURISUM, in case that pronunciation isn't coming across clearly. Their selfless spirit makes them excellent partners as they are able to listen with intention and offer unparalleled emotional support. Okay. Being born life path 33, you feel like both a blessing and a curse. Individuals with this life path can experience a level of spiritual understanding and emotional empathy that most others could not begin to comprehend. However, in order for them to achieve this, they must face a series of obstacles throughout their lives that will test them. One of their greatest lessons is to heal themselves, hello, before they can exercise their power of healing on others. I had to heal myself. I had to go through the dark night of the soul, go through the spiritual awakening. I had to go through those processes, and I continue to ascend, and I'm ascending constantly and raising my vibration ever constantly because the universe, the kingdom, is ever increasing, and it is endless. Okay? So, that's what I had to do. Before I could come on here and share what I'm sharing, I went through dark places. Okay? I went through one time during that dark night of the soul when I had 50 pills in my mouth. True story. True story. I was 2 seconds away from calling the VA suicide hotline. True story. True story. Yeah. True story. But what I did, I already knew that what I was going through, I needed to go through. What I was looking for was some type of energetic release or relief. That's what I was looking for. So the dark night of the soul is meant to be an ugly thing. Because if you think about physical detoxing, if most of us did, I haven't since the transplant, maybe I'll do one for the beginning of the year, for the new year. So the year coming up is the year of 8, the number 8. This is the year of 7, 2003. Or excuse me, 2000, that would be the year of 5. This is the year of 7, because of 2023, right? So when we're taking a look at ourselves, oh, by the way, to close out that story, I I knew internally, as difficult as it was for my mind to get it, to grasp it, what was happening at the time, because what I thought was word and spirit at that time, and even she said it. She said it was out of timing. I still struggled with that truth, and it is a truth, right? And since then, there's been so much that's been done, like both good and not, that it's yeah, that's why I relocated. That's all I can say about that situation. That's why I relocated 2,000 miles away from all of that, because it was karmic, evil, witchcrafts, warlocks, gang stalkers. It was ridiculous, leaving stuff on the doorstep of the house I was living in, that I was renting, just stopping at the stop sign. There was an intersection right in front of the house, and there was a stop sign there. Stop right in front of the house, and they would sit there for minutes. I would look at them through the curtains, and they would sit there, and they would point, right, and they would be literally right in front of the house. And y'all might think I'm paranoid. This stuff actually happened, and when the court cases and all that stuff clear out, then I'll be able to post the links that tell the truth. Right? So yes. So no matter what life path number you are, know that you can be divinely guided. I was going to say that you are, but you may not be. This might be the beginning of your being spiritually guided. Okay? Everything's working out for your good, and life is happening for you, not to you. But we have to take our hands off the reins. There are bumper stickers that say, Jesus is my co-pilot. That is a bunch of bullshit. Why would you have Yeshua be your co-pilot? All right? First of all, he really shouldn't be in the car. What the saying really means is that Most High Divine Source, Yahweh God, Abba Father, the one I pray to, whoever that is in the driver's seat, is what that should mean. Okay? And if he's not in the driver's seat, okay, because of free will, he's in the passenger seat giving us directions. He's your Garmin device. So, I personally like the thought of him driving, and then we talk about the various places we want to stop along the way. When I say him, I mean the I am in me. I prefer that to drive the car. Right. So, anyway, thank you so much for holding on. If you had to stop and come back or what have you, thank you so much. Again, I know this ran extra long. We just passed 134. Okay? So thank you so much for staying tuned, or again, tuning in. I'm sure you had to come back. And hopefully you found a nugget or two within the information that I shared, whether it's the life path number, examples, or some other whatever information that I shared. Again, my name's Nehru. You've been tuned into The Encourager. I hope you're enjoying your day and your life whenever you find this, and know that you're a spiritual being here having a human experience. And this experience can be as beautiful and loving peaceful as we allow it to be. But in that allowing, we have to release, and we have to make sure that we are in the place energetically that we need to be. Okay? So thank you for tuning in, and be encouraged.